Version 2.3 is where we go from Zenless Zone Zero to Rupture Zone Zero. That's because we're finally getting a premium support for Rupture Agents, and she's amazing. Also, I just want to point out that I love the fact that she summons Ethereals to deal damage to enemies. Just like Pan, the buffs she provides are mostly for Rupture Agents, but the gameplay loop is super simple, and personally, it feels much better than Pan Yinhu. In this video, you'll learn everything about Lucia, kit, gameplay, discs, engines, and Mindscapes, so you can get the best out of her. Before we begin, a quick reminder that all the information here comes from the creator server, meaning it's not final and could change before the official release. In terms of power level, Lucia is basically the Astra for Rupture. That's because most of her buffs can only be used by Rupture Agents, which makes her less flexible than other previous supports. But that's far from being a problem, since the buffs Lucia provides are massive. Lots of sheer force, damage, crit damage, increased HP, and even healing, which pairs really well with the new Rupture Agents release in 2.3. Her gameplay is super simple since you barely need to interact with her. She will trigger aftershocks that refresh her buffs, giving a maximum of 36 seconds uptime for you. Let's start by talking about her core skill, since to make it easier for you to understand her kit and how things interact with each other. Lucia starts the combat with 60 Dream Points, and once you hit 100, you enter the Dream state, which enables a lot of her kit, damage, and buffs. Entering the Dream state also activates a quick assist to the next agent and also activates Ether Veil Wellspring, which increases the HP of all squad members by 5% and has, basically, unlimited duration. While in the Dream state, using any wing consumes Dream Points and upgrades it to a Harmony. And by now you're probably thinking, what is that guy talking about? Some of Lucia's attacks are considered wings or harmonies, and it will be specified on every single skill description. Base attack 5, dodge counter, special attack, and quick assists are all wings. EX special, assist follow-up, chain attack, and ultimate are all harmonies. All the skills can generate Dream Points for you as long as you're not in the Dream state, and each attack has its own point generation. I'll talk about these point generations when going over her kit, but here's a quick reference for you regarding her points generation. If you are already in the Dream state, neither Harmony or Wings will generate Dream Points, and Wings will even consume Dream Points to upgrade it to a Harmony, increasing the damage and interacting with her EX special that will be explained later. Anyway, back to the core. If another active character hits an enemy, Lucia consumes 25 Dream Points and triggers an Aftershock that is also considered an Harmony. This Aftershock will be randomly selected between a basic attack Aftershock, quick assist Aftershock, and special attack Aftershock, meaning that leveling up all 3 skills is recommended in order to increase the damage of your Aftershocks. After any upgrade or Aftershock, you cannot trigger any Aftershocks for 8 seconds, and you buff all your allies with Dreamer's Nursery Rhyme, which increases your damage by up to 20% for 12 seconds. This means that, assuming you're triggering Aftershocks every 8 seconds, the core buff is active for a total of 36 seconds. Lucia exits the Dream state after running out of points, so after spending all her points, you need to refresh the Dream state, otherwise you risk losing her core buff. Now that you understand what Dream Points, Wings, and Harmonies are, let's move to the rest of the kit. Base attack is really basic, and there's nothing much to talk about here. The only interesting thing is that base attack 5 is a wing, and if you are in combat, it generates 40 Dream Points for you. The dash attack deals ether damage, but once again, nothing special here. The dodge counter is a win and generates 20 Dream Points for you, however, this generation has a 5-second cooldown. There's no basic attack skip here, so you can't even use it to reach basic attack 5 faster. The special attack is also a win, and just like the dodge counter, it generates 20 Dream Points with a 5-second cooldown. Now, for the EX special, there's a lot to talk about here. The EX special is a Harmony that generates 60 Dream Points and allows you to follow up with basic attack 5, meaning that a single combo of EX special into basic attack generates a total of 100 points for you. This is the fastest way to fully recover your Dream Points and get back to the Dream state, but there's a lot of extra stuff here that we need to talk about. The EX special also allows all of your harmonies to activate the Dark Breaker state, which increases the shear force of all your squad members by 12 points, and your initial HP gives you additional shear force based on the skill level. You need a total of 24,000 initial HP to maximize the shear force buff. Initial HP is the number that appears on your character stat page, before any other kind of buff is applied to it. Also, all of your harmonies deal increased damage based on Lucia's HP. These effects are always active, but their values scales with your EX special level. So basically speaking, harmonies deals a lot of damage and gives sheer force for all your squad members. And before I forget, her additional ability requires a stun or rupture agent and enhances this Dark Breaker state by giving 30% crit damage to all squad members. Quick Assist is a win, and just like Dodge Counter, it regenerates 20 Dream Points with a 5-second cooldown. It's a fast skill, but the damage is too low, and I don't think you get a lot of Quick Assist into Lucia. Assist Follow-Up is a harmony and generates 40 Dream Points. The damage in days is pretty good, so in case you need to refresh your Dream Points or just need extra days, this is a good skill. Chain Attack is also a harmony that generates 40 Dream Points. It deals some damage, so feel free to use it in case you need extra decibels or just some extra damage. Finally, the ultimate is also a harmony that generates 100 Dream Points, but if you are in the Dream state, it instead gives a buff that automatically refills your Dream Points after the current Dream state is over. While using the ultimate, if you hold down your movement keys, you can extend the duration and walk around the map for up to 3 seconds. That ultimate triggers a quick assist to the next unit and leaves a field called Starlight Convergence that lasts for 8 seconds and heals characters inside of it based on Lucia's maximum HP. The animation is really cool, the damage is pretty good, but walking around the map is not worth it. Her gameplay loop is quite simple, as you don't require a lot of interactions with her. Just activate the Dream State and you have 36 seconds of buffs for your team. If you need to refresh the Dream State, using an EX special into Basic Attack 5 or your ultimate is the quickest way to generate 100 Dream Points. Use your ultimate to heal other allies, especially the new Rupture Agents that require spending HP to get damage increase. For skill upgrade priority, focus on her EX special and core skills in order to increase the buffs Lucia provides for your squad, while also increasing a bit of her damage potential as well. After this, level up ultimate for the massive damage increase and the healing bonus as well. Follow up with basics and assists, since Lucia aftershocks are randomized and the damage scales with whatever it triggers. Dodgers are your last priority, since they cannot be aftershocks and you are barely fielding Lucia anyway. Now, let's talk about building your Lucia. For these sets, the best and only option is Moonlight Lullaby. It provides better buffs than Swing Jazz or Protopunk with a higher duration and is somewhat easier to trigger compared to these other options. Astral Voice is definitely not an option, since the 2-piece effect only increases Lucia's own damage potential and you don't have enough quick assist to sustain Astral Voice. For the 2-piece set, Yunqi Tails or Swing Jazz are the best options, but if you're feeling fancy and you don't need the extra HP or energy regeneration, you can definitely use Woodpecker for some extra damage. For disc stats, disc 4, 5, and 6 are all going to be HP. Just for you to have an idea, if you want to replace one of these discs with anything that is not HP, you need her signature engine, Yunqi Tails 2-piece, 16 HP percentage rolls, and 7 flat HP rolls to maximize the sheer force buff. It's not impossible, but it's really hard, and if somehow you manage to achieve this, you can either replace disc 4 with crit rate, disc 5 with ether damage, or disc 6 with energy regeneration. For substats, HP percentage and flat HP are your top priorities, at least until you maximize the sheer force buff. After this, crit rate, attack percentage, and crit damage are your best options for some extra damage on your Lucia. And for Vengeance, Lucia's signature is a strong pick that both helps you maximize your sheer force buff, while also increase the damage for Rupture Agents. At phase 1, it gives 0.4 energy regeneration, and whenever you extend the duration of an Ether Veil, you increase the damage of all squad members by 25% and also increase their HP by 15%, meaning even more sheer force for Rupture Agents. The Ether Veil requirement means that currently it only works for Lucia, and so far, the only other option that can get close to the same value for your team is Unfetter Game Ball, and this requires buying battle passes, fighting ether weak enemies and adjusting your DPS build for the extra crit rate. More free-to-play options include Whipping Cradle, Kaboom the Cannon, and Reverb Mark III for the extra HP. Now, let's talk about Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 is insane. It allows your squad members to ignore 18% of the enemy resistance, which is similar to what Astra provides, with the exception that Astra reduces the enemy resistance. On top of that, it also increases the decibel generation rate for everyone, which can be surprisingly strong for a Xuan Fufu team. If you manage to fit extra ultimates thanks to that decibel generation, the value of these Mindscapes increases even further. Mindscape 2 increases Lucia's damage output as long as Ether Veil Wellspring is active. It also increases the sheer damage for agents under Darkbreaker and Ether Veil's Wellspring at the same time. This is a pretty strong Mindscape since sheer damage is not widely available and it's multiplicative with damage and even the resistance buff for Mindscape 1. Mindscape 4 generates extra decibels when extending Ether Veil. The damage increase of this Mindscape just depends if it's helping you hit extra ultimates or not. So keep this in mind as I did not include extra ultimates on my calculations. Finally, Mindscape 6 allows Lucia to be a DPS agent. Not only do you get attack based on your maximum HP whenever you are under any Ether Veil, it also guarantees crit hits for all your harmonies. Yes, they really want you to focus on the harm part of harmony. Overall, my pull recommendation is getting Mindscape 1 before the signature engine. While it's true that none of the other weapons provides massive buffs that synergizes with Lucia, Mindscape 1 decibel generation and 18% resistance ignore is really strong and consistent with any DPS you pair with Lucia. Whipping Cradle or even Kaboom provides better energy regeneration than her signature, so keeping Moonlight Lullaby or enough energy to refresh Dream Points is easily achievable. I would not recommend going further unless you're looking for name cards or Mindscape 6. Finally, for themes, just like Pan, Lucia is meant to support Rupture Agents, so of course, Xuan, Manato, and Yidari or any future Rupture Agents are somewhat required to make good use of Lucia's buff. For the last slot, it just depends on what you need and the units you have available. But stunners can help you achieve faster stuns to spend your resources and deal huge damage. Of course, Fufu is one of the best options to pair alongside Lucia, since this is the strongest core for any Rupture DPS in the game, for now. I would not recommend using Lucia and Pan together, since they are just providing sheer force and damage, and there are better units to provide other multipliers. And that should be everything for my Lucia guide. I hope it could help you understand how important Lucia is for Rupture Agents and how you can maximize and explore her potential. If you still have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below or join my Discord server. I'll leave you with a Xuan, Fufu, Lucia gameplay against Miasma Priest so you can see the team in action and how strong it feels. Oh, just keep in mind that the buff is made for Lucia and it definitely makes her really strong, and once this buff goes out of rotation, she will drop down a little bit. But it is still stronger and much better to play than Pan Ninhu. Thank you so much for watching this video, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in my next video.